We're bringing the fun. We're bringing the thunder. We are Funder. Flesh and blood down under. Andy, welcome.
Hello. Thank you.
Chromatic in the house.
We have a very special guest, ladies and gentlemen. We have the owner of Sydney's sexiest LGS. Right in the heart of Sydney, really, in Ashfield. Chromatic Games. Welcome, Andy. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Timmy.
Do you have an event on tonight?
No.
Okay.
Yeah,
We
some
were
people
saying
busy,
something about
so-
draft.
Yeah, some people weren't free on that day.
Okay,
so
okay.
Probably next week.
Okay. So you're doing like a beginner's draft, I hear.
Yeah, I'm trying to convert some MTG people to flesh and blood.
That's the way. That's what one at a time, one soul at a time.
Yeah. It all
It's
started
happening.
when they wanted, I made 2 starter decks, a white border starter decks, I
Ooh.
made myself. And I
What
used,
heroes?
Katsu and Ira on it, just to keep it
Yep.
balanced.
All ninja, baby.
Yeah, to keep it simple. And then I have that double mat on one of the tables, and then sometimes they ask, they're like, teach me, give me a demo, And then I give them a demo, and then they're like, that was fun.
That's actually, that's a good, that's how the Ira deck started, right? That's what GamesCube had. They just
Yes,
the
correct.
Ira deck setup.
Yes, they did.
See, that's what Classic Battle's for. I've got one sleeved up, but I don't own a store. I think stores should have a Classic Battle sleeved up. Because also you might sell a Classic Battle, like you show some kid how to play, you go, oh, I love this Reinar guy. And then you go, yeah, well, that's what you play. It's right there. It's okay.
Yeah, but I feel like it's not a lot, like you say, kids, but I think flesh
Sure,
and blood
sure.
usually, like,
Well, I say kid because I'm 35. I mean like a 20-year-old,
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. So I don't know much of your backstory. Paul knows a bit more than I do.
I do.
So
Andy,
you need to actually tell me and the audience.
Yeah, don't
So
worry. We'll go
I'll tell
deep.
you my side first. Reason is when I just started playing, Paul was going around, told Timmy was going around to different stores. And I remember I went to Blood Rush first. You were the second store I ever went to. And we did an alpha box in the back room. But he told me some good things. He's like, look, I convinced this guy to get into Fab. We're going to go down. Like he was very much trying to build the community then. But aside from that, I know you got a background in poker. And that's pretty much as far as I know about but how did the store start? How did you...
Well, I want to go further
go
back.
further back?
I want to go further back. Look,
All right, you drive.
I've known Andy for quite some time. We met in around, I think it'd be around May 2013. Were you still in high school then? I think you were.
yes, I was.
Yeah, God, and I was just about to we were just
Wait,
about
how old are you?
I'm 26 now.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Okay.
9 years ago, and
Yeah.
God, Andy was in high school, and I was about to have my third child. Unbelievable. So, Andy goes way back. The reason why I've got such a special place in my heart for Andy is after my 16-year hiatus from Magic, my first night rocking up at a brand new LGS that had only been open for a few weeks, we did a draft. There was only 4 of us that turned up. One was the store owner, Dark Lord, and one of the other person was Andy. And that was the first... You remember that draft, right?
This was at the...
Yeah, at the
Yeah,
GamesCube.
the GamesCube, yeah.
Yeah, you remember that? With Brad, yourself, and Lindsay and me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you were in high school. I think Brad might have been in high school too.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so.
And I think... Were you two's mates back then as well? Or
We met each other at Game Traders Westfield.
before that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, I've just got such a really good memories of that. And then obviously over the next few years, we were both grinding Magic and in the same group. And, I became, friends with Andy. And then, post Magic, you're a prolific grinder at MTG. You love playing Spice and Rogue. Shout out to Scred, baby.
yeah.
Scred all day.
Yeah, I think... I don't remember. It was a GP Singapore.
Yeah.
It was like quite a while ago. Maybe... I don't know, 2013, 14.
Yeah, 14 maybe.
Yeah.
14.
I played Scred Red, and I was the only Scred Red that day two'd in that GP. And I think that Chapman Sim, that guy? He
Yeah,
writes
yeah.
articles for Magic. I think he wrote a article and he had that Scred Red in there, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's me.
I do remember that. But like from then, like John touched on it. Then you went after we all sort of packed up from playing a lot of competitive Magic. You stayed in the card realm, but you pivoted. You pivoted hard.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is prior to opening your LGS and all the rest of it. So fast forward, team. I met Andy like when he was a teenager in high school, playing my first game of Magic after a 16-year hiatus, and then snapshot today, he is the owner of one of Sydney's largest and greatest LGSs, in my opinion. Now, in between that though, there's some stories. I just find this very interesting. So walk us through, the time in the casino and the croupier and professional poker player and running some underground games, and let the audience know what's
Allegedly.
That's right.
Alleged
That's right.
underground game.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah. I was playing like Magic in high school, friends and that, and then I got a job at the casino as a blackjack and poker dealer.
How old were you when you did that?
2015, I think. 2015, yeah. So
And you had to sit tests to get a job doing that, to be a dealer?
yeah, like they run you through like an interview and like a hand-to-eye coordination test.
Oh, really?
Yeah, to make sure that you're not colorblind for the chips, colors, and all that. So
Maths? Did you have to do maths?
yeah,
tests?
there's like some like times table sheets.
I find
and
it fascinating what dealers, like how quickly they can read like how much someone's chips are. You know what I mean?
You don't have to be good at maths. It's kind of like just
Sure.
remembering the answer and then just like remembering that with the chip. So like you're like, okay, the 2 chips equals this.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Did you find that your background in TCGs helped you with that testing to get into the casino? Or not really?
I wouldn't say it helped me with getting into the casino, but it definitely helped me with my skill for poker.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of players who are really good at poker, Magic, and there's also another game called StarCraft. Like there's a lot of people that jump from each of one of these games one to another and usually do really well. There's like professional StarCraft 2 players that jump into poker and then they do really well.
Why do you think that is?
I don't know. There must be some sort of skill that's.
It's still StarCraft's hand-eye coordination's big, but also there's a lot of maths in StarCraft, isn't there? You got to like keep track of. You got to know like 2 workers on this mine will equal this. Like there's a lot of like I can't follow it, but when you watch a StarCraft game, there's a lot going on.
There's a lot of multitasking.
Yes.
And that's
like if your brain can handle, if you're like good at StarCraft 2, you have a very high IQ. There's no way you don't have a high IQ. Yeah.
That's why for StarCraft it's like it's not as popular as League of Legends. Because like I feel like the skill cap for the game is like really high. You know the games where like it's really hard. As in like the better players in it will always win. Like if you're if you suck at,
there's no luck.
Exactly. If you suck at StarCraft and then there's a better player, like he's gonna win like most of the time,
Yes,
100% of the time.
Like chess.
Yeah, exactly. There's
So
no
chess-
excuses, right?
A lot of chess pros are getting into poker.
Yeah, and but for League of Legends, like it's popular because it keeps all the noobs in. Like it gives them hope because they can be like, oh, my teammate sucks. He fed, so like that's why we lost. And then they're like, oh, let's try again. And they just keep trying.
Yeah.
It gives them that false hope.
And that exactly right. To have like a mega game, you need to have the Timmys coming back.
Yeah, exactly.
If you just go chess balls to the walls, no Timmys are playing competitive chess. Okay, forget about it.
It's correct.
You have to
can't-
dumb it
you
down
can't build
for people like
a
me.
very large franchise on competitive only.
Well, you
Because there's only so many people that are good.
Yeah, exactly.
But Fab is, I think, in that Fab's one of the. I'm trying to remember what the wording is. It's like but it's easy to learn. You can do your thing. You can hit a triple Lumina combo if you want to, right?
Oh, that's hard. Come on, man, that's hard.
No. It'll happen by luck eventually, is what I'm saying. Like you will still quad intim someone and kill them when you're on 1 life. You'll reckless swing someone. Like you will win a game of Flesh and Blood even if you're terrible at the game. It's possible. But the difference between a good player and a bad player is like light years apart.
Yeah, 100%.
But you can still beat the good player. There's still that little bit of chance, right?
It's like the hope.
Which is annoying because it also gives people some false sense of skill.
Yes.
Not as much hope as there is in Magic.
In Magic, I think that's why Fab is good.
Yeah. But in Magic, that with the increased variance, a Timmy really can beat a pro.
Yeah.
If they get mana screwed or something like that, you're just like, yes, I'm the
And
best.
Fab has that. Like if the best player in the world draws all non-attack actions, on a rune blade. It just happened. Like you
It's
can't.
like when a player beats you because of luck, and then they explain to you why like they won and why they're better.
Yeah, but okay, let's reverse this.
You got to love that though.
The problem with that is what happened to our good friend Brent Gordon. Smashed a very well-known player on Reiner versus Stavo. And the guy was like, you just got lucky. It's like, man, you can't get that lucky. Like, you can't. Stavo into...
Isn't
Reiner.
Stavo meant to get lucky?
That's what... No, but Stavo is one of those decks that it just plays itself. For the Reiner to win, that's not just luck. Like, that, do you understand what I'm saying? Yeah, you got... Anyway, I think anyone that wins Worlds, which is what's coming up, will have to be lucky. But also has to be very... Like, you can't... Because poker's the same, right? I can get lucky in poker, make the right calls 10 times in a row and win.
Yeah.
But to win a tournament, skill rises to the top, and you need both.
Yeah.
You need
So
both.
this is how they explain it in poker tournaments. It's like so anyone can win, right? Even if the worst player can win, like due to luck. But so a poker tournament is like a lottery, but the better players have more tickets.
Yes.
Yeah. So
That's it's variance reduction is your skill.
Yeah, just because you have 20 tickets doesn't mean you're going to win the lottery, right?
Yes.
If you're completely reckless, if you go into one of these poker games completely reckless, no one knows you, no one can get a read on you, you're just like so out there, contrary to all the, typical plays you're meant to be doing, can you high roll a tournament and actually win doing that strategy or not?
Yeah, you can. There's always a chance. Like
Even against good players?
Yeah, you still have the ticket. You still have a ticket. You know what I mean? You can still
Anyone
win.
can win in a poker tournament. There's
Interesting.
always... Well, here's one thing that I find interesting about poker, though. Really, when it comes to heads up, way more skill. So to win a tournament, you also have to win the 1v1 at the end.
Yes.
That's skill. Like, you can't be that lucky. Like, you can't... It's very... I don't think I've ever seen... Because I watch a little bit of pro, but I don't think someone that had no business being at the final table won a tournament that often. Like, they'll win one and then you never hear of them again. But these guys that have won, like, 15 bracelets, it's exactly right. They've had luck streaks, but the amount of tickets they hold going in, their reads, the ability to do the ratios in their head, the probabilities in their head.
Yeah, everyone gets lucky. Like they get their time.
You have to, yeah.
But then the better players know how to like, capitalize on that and get max value when they do get lucky. You know.
And Fab has a similar thing where it's like, if you got a shit hand, you need to make the best decision you can with the shit hand.
Block it out,
And not
baby.
get emotional, like especially at a high level. I think that's why certain people do very well at Fab is they know the mechanics, obviously. They can build a deck, great. But then when they're under the crunch and they pull shit, they don't tilt. Like Pablo lost his first 2 games, won the tournament. That's not an everyone can do that skill. Do you know what I mean?
You know, I heard a big fan of Tariq, massive fan, good mind, great, Magic player as well. Very good mind. He explains it, especially when he's explaining to Magic players that it's very hard for them to grasp the concept with Fab that you need to look at every turn as a hard reset, right? Which is not like Magic, right?
Yep.
Magic's all about synergy, building a board state, tagging on turn after turn together, whereas essentially a lot of Fab is...
It's a mini game every time.
Exactly. It's like getting in that mindset, not getting on tilt, that this is like literally resetting the game every turn. And if you can like get your head around that and maximize that, every turn is a reset and just blocking out all the BS and just tackling it one turn at a time. That was the way he was explaining it. And I found that quite interesting. I hadn't heard anyone explain it that way before. But getting back to poker, so you went into the casino, you did your tests, probably aced them, got the job. How did that go? What was it like working in a casino? You were doing poker, blackjack?
Yeah, it was. It's a very chill job because like
Chill?
It's very chill. Like it was the only job that I've ever got that doesn't feel like you're going to work. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's like every hour you work, you get a 15-minute break, and you have your uniform laundered for you, so you just rock up in your whatever clothes you work up with.
Oh, they wash their clothes for you.
Yeah,
everything.
exactly. And you just go to the
Yeah, because they will probably want it to look all the same, right?
yeah, exactly. So like there's like what's that thing? Have you watched Monsters Inc? You know how all the doors are like moving and stuff. It just think of that. Those are uniforms, and like you just go there and you press your number, and then the uniform just like comes to you, and then you just pick it up, and
That's
you
cool.
get changed, and then you look at the timetable thing to see what table you're on, and you have to go there. And then that's about it.
So it's very regimented. You know what's going on.
Yeah. It's
But
very
you're
chill.
playing more than working. It feels like
yeah.
what I mean is you're dealing, but you're like it's in a game that you.
What did you like about it?
It's. I know this. Some people might disagree, but I say it's like it feels different every day. But like some people say, oh no, you're just doing the same motions and that. But like it's about meeting and seeing all these different types of people. You know,
Yeah.
because like in the gambling world, there's some really crazy ass people in there.
Yeah, you must have met some characters, right?
Yeah. Oh my god. Oh, I dealt to Mel Gibson, if you know who he is. I didn't know who he was at the time when I was dealing to him. I didn't know who he was.
You didn't know who Mel Gibson was?
I'm sorry, I didn't know who he was.
Damn.
Yeah,
He's young. Yeah.
Yeah, they moved.
Freedom.
Yeah. So, yeah, I was working
Lethal
one
Weapon?
shift. I was working one shift, and then they moved me like 3 tables down, like away from everyone else. And I was like, why? And then some old-looking dude.
He is old.
Yeah.
He is a bit washed now. Yeah.
Yeah. Like they opened like a $50 blackjack table just for him, and then he had like 2 women next to him, and just watching him gamble and stuff. And then like I would just be like, I don't know, telling like he's asking like what's good to do on this hand, what should I double here, should I split here? No, he's like asking me if I'm just talking to him like a normal person.
Yeah.
Are
I'm
you
just like,
allowed to give advice?
yeah, you can just talk. It doesn't really matter because it's
Look,
the order.
VIP like that gets his own table. You're probably allowed to help him a little bit.
No, that doesn't really matter because like it's all in that automatic shuffle machine. So
Yeah.
like
It literally doesn't matter
it
what
doesn't
you
matter
say.
what you do. In the long run, you're gonna lose. So they don't really care. Like you can help him. Like even if you're playing by the book, you know there's a blackjack book like the optimized strategy, what you're meant to do. You're still gonna lose.
Is that book good or full of shit?
It's good. It's good.
Okay.
But it depends on your luck, obviously.
So the automatic machines, I've heard, they're like, they're not rigged, but they're not random either, right?
The thing is, they don't have to rig it. You know what I mean? They don't have to rig it to win. So
It's just the how.
it's
Yeah.
like
That's
just
how the game's built.
Exactly. You know what I mean? So like, you don't need to rig it. You just leave it there and let it run.
How
It's
much
gonna
did
make you
Mel
money.
Gibson tip you? That's what I want to know.
Oh, you can't. Oh, it's illegal to tip in Australia.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's
Well,
really
why
weird.
would you ever work in a casino in Australia then?
Yeah. But I don't know. I heard some random stories of people working at the casino too. Like this, I don't know. There's like, who's the owner of Crown Casino or something? Or I don't know, someone. Something Packer.
Yeah. James, yeah.
I think, I don't know, was it him or someone else that they went to start to, and then they booked out like the whole floor just for him to gamble. And then there was like, he wanted specific dealers to deal to him. And like they had to be blonde. They had to be busty. They had to he had all these requirements. And then like the star was like, okay, we'll do it. Yeah. Cause he's gambling big.
Yeah.
And then I think he got like, I don't know, attached to like one of the blonde dealers or something. And then, I think he offered her like more than like a $200,000 tip, and it's like, you can take it, but you lose your job. It's like, would you take it? You know, it's like,
200,000.
yeah,
you
to
take
quit
it.
your job. Yeah, you take
It's
it.
got to be like 3-4 years worth of wages.
Exactly. Yeah, you
right?
can just go work at Macca's anyway. After.
So is that what the pit boss said to
You should
her?
go to another
Said
casino.
the pit boss basically said, "Hey, you can take the 200 grand, but see you later."
No, I don't know. I don't know the whole story, but
that's a good
it probably
story.
changes. It probably changes here and there, like when people tell each other.
So I have
like
heard
that.
people
That's
making tips at the casino, but maybe they're not dealers. Maybe that's the difference. I don't think maybe you can tip a dealer here. Maybe not. But I know like valets and stuff make.
Oh yeah,
good
they
tips.
can. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. But
I think the dealers can't because like they would.
sure.
Their reason is because like there might be like, you know, like deals under the table. It's like, oh, I'm gonna cheat for you, so
Sure,
you
yeah.
win, you know, and then you're gonna give me a tip.
But is that even possible?
I guess.
Because the machine, you're not shuffling yourself, are you?
Sometimes, like most of the time you're not, but when the machine like
Sure.
like breaks down or something, then you need.
Yeah, but as a rule, like you're not even the one handling the cards. You get the deck out.
yeah, you're just
cut
putting
it
in the
and
machine
start and start dealing,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
You're not,
yeah.
What was your
That's
favorite game to run? What'd you like the most?
Probably poker because you get a chair.
yeah.
Well, in baccarat you get a chair too, but poker's, I don't know. I like poker, so it's more fun. Like you're just like sitting there dealing the game and watching these hands play out. So sometimes it's
What was the
interesting.
craziest hand you saw?
Craziest hand.
Not value, like rarity.
Rarity. Nah, I think I've seen all the
Seen
all
everything
the,
possible.
all the bad beats, all the you know, all the stories, is all the same. It's just like the person on tilt and
Have you seen
complaining.
someone fully go on tilt? Like just lose their shit?
yeah.
Damn.
Man, poker. Just go watch some YouTube videos. It's like some of those 1%ers that'll win. And they
Yeah.
There's rage.
Yeah, it happens. It happens. So that's why I feel like if you come from poker into fab, for example, it's like if you're good at not controlling your tilt, then I think that would be very beneficial to a fab player. Because like when you get tilted on small things like, oh, I got unlucky on this, but what you should be really worrying about is what you could have done to be do better.
What you can
in that
control.
match, you know what I mean? Yeah, exactly.
Can't control what you draw, right?
Yeah, exactly. Just do your best.
And how long were you at the casino for?
2 years.
Okay.
Yeah. And then, I stopped. I quit to just pursue playing poker, like just hustling.
So you basically became like a professional, like that was your livelihood, playing
Yeah.
poker,
Yeah.
essentially.
And when you say professional, it doesn't necessarily make me like a very good very, very good poker player. Like being a successful poker player is about you just have to be not the worst person on the table. That's it.
I like that.
Is there a skill in knowing that and leaving?
Yeah. Like you can just read people. You know, like sometimes you can.
If you feel like you can't win at this table, you just walk away.
Not that you can't win, but it's like negative EV.
Yeah.
You know, it's like same for Fab. Let's say you're in a draft pod with like Hayden Dale, Philip, and like Roy and everyone. You know, you're gonna be like, okay, would you rather be in this pod or would you rather be in a pod with like
Nobodies.
Yeah, nobodies. Yeah, exactly. And then
With me.
they both have the same prize.
That I
You know what I mean?
understand
It's
what
like,
that's what I mean. Like you it's probably a skill in and of itself is to know what your like how you will perform or how you feel like you're performing and or being able to spot skill. Another hustler.
Where'd you do most of your playing?
I started when I first started playing poker, and my friend brought me to like those pub tournaments. It's like would be like a $35 entry, and first place wins $500 cash. So I played. I think it was my second one. I won it for first place, and I was like, "Wow, this is like playing FNM, except you win. You know, like money."
I think I remember that when you first started doing that. Yeah, you were putting them posts in our group chat way back.
Was it? Oh
Yeah.
wow, that's a long time ago. Huh?
Yeah, it was a very long time.
Yeah, it all started with that, and then you meet different people when playing these events, and then you network, and then you get information, and you get to get into those private games and stuff.
Ooh.
You know, because like it's usually by invite, like for these games. So you have to know the people, right? They're not gonna just like bring randoms in.
Is there a lot of those games going on around?
Oh yeah, there is a lot more than you think.
Oof.
It's probably like one in this apartment.
Oh, for sure.
Really? In this building? Yeah.
There's
probably.
weird people in this building,
Probably.
man. I can
Damn.
Yeah.
And they're running like every night of the week.
I don't know. It depends on that. It depends on them.
But like, I mean, across Sydney, you could find a private game every night of the week.
Yep.
Easy.
100%.
And they're just run by typical person that runs a private game would be.
Sometimes. So it's usually the how do you say it? It's like every game has like celebrities kind of thing. Like Fab would be like, you know, the Fab celebrities. There'll be like there's the chess celebrities. There's the there's you know, like the good players, like the iconic people.
Yeah.
So sometimes these people run the games because like you have influence. So like people like come along. You know, there's like there's a Yu-Gi-Oh store in Asheville, like near Chromatic Games too, and I believe the owner like he won like a YCS like tournament like first or something, and then
What does that mean? Is that a big poker
yeah,
tournament?
no, that's a big Yu-Gi-Oh tournament.
Or a big Yu-Gi-Oh
yeah,
tournament.
and then
Right.
like you gain a lot of respect and stuff. So like, and then people would start following you in that. So because like if you're a good player, people want to follow you. You know?
Jiu-jitsu's like that. If you go win worlds, you open a gym.
Yeah,
People
yeah,
will come and train
yeah,
at
it's just
your
like,
gym first. So people would want to play Yu-Gi-Oh.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, if you win like be a champion or something, and then you open a gym, people are gonna come. You know,
That's always the ticket into success is go win something, and then if you want to be a coach, it's the better way. Get a reputation first. Which I imagine like Magic is the same. If you win some tournaments and you open a store, your store will probably have a better competitive scene than other ones.
Yeah.
Interesting. So how long were you doing the full-time poker playing before you morphed into running a game?
I think because it all started going to private games, right? So I think it was around like maybe the 5th or 6th time I go, like, and I used to always go with my mate, And then he was like, why don't we just do this? And then we're like, okay, we can try. And then it's like, have you ever watched Molly's Game?
No,
No.
what's that?
If you watch that movie, it's kind of like that.
Right.
Yeah. Then you understand. Yeah.
What movie?
Molly's Game.
It's
Oh,
called
it's a
Molly's-
it's
yeah.
a movie called Molly's Game.
Yeah, it's called Molly's Game. If you watch that, then
Okay.
I think you understand everything. I think.
Is it like Rounders? That's the only poker movie I know.
Kind of.
Oh,
Kind of.
I love Rounders. It's got to be one.
Okay,
of
you
the
should
greats.
probably watch it. Watch
Yeah.
it then.
Okay.
Yeah. Ran that for about 2 to 3 years, and then, but it's such a degenerate lifestyle. Like,
Really?
because like the hours you're sleeping is like completely random. Sometimes you're like you haven't slept for a day, or like you're sleeping at 6 a.m. in the morning, or like you're waking up at 6 p.m. You know, like
How long do these poker games go for?
however long you want.
What, like they'll play in a private game all night through the whole night?
Yeah, through the morning, the next day,
What's the longest running game you held?
16 hours.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do people come and go, or is that
Yeah,
the
just some
same
people
group?
come and go. Yeah.
Oh, so that's just people coming and go on the same game.
Yeah.
So it's not a tournament, winner takes all. It's just come in, play, lose, win, go.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, you're staying when you're winning. Like, is that? Are you more likely to stay longer because you're winning?
Not necessarily. There's something called hit and run, which means like when you just
You win and go.
Yeah, exactly. But then that's no good. You're probably not going to get invited ever again.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, how does that all work? How do these gamblers toe the line between
Well, there's
winning
poker
and
etiquette
losing?
that's part
Yes.
of poker.
What is the etiquette?
I don't
Explain
know.
it to me.
I'm sure there is though.
Yeah, it varies. I think. Usually it's got like you got a core time when you're gonna leave, like maybe like an hour before
Right.
or 2 hours before.
So you got to let everyone know. And go,
Yeah.
hey, I'm leaving in 2 hours.
Yeah, but I don't think you can like win a big hand and then be like, hey guys, I'm leaving in 2 hours.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, but see, why not? You know, because as someone that doesn't,
But then you're not going to get
gamble,
invited back. That's why.
I understand, but like if it goes all in 8 ways and I fucking win, the chances of me winning more than that are unlikely. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but it's also like you know.
But yeah, it's
if
not
you-
fair.
yeah, and people are not gonna like you, and when
Yeah.
when people don't like you, you know, you're not gonna get invited next time and stuff.
Fair.
So then it limits your like word goes around your name, you know, your reputation is like, oh, he's a hidden runner. So then it's like no one wants you
Right.
into the game, you know.
What's the atmosphere like on these tables? Is it jovial? Is it super serious? Are
No.
people talking smack?
It's a lot of banter. It's not usually that serious.
Okay.
But like, unless you're playing like high stakes, then sometimes it gets pretty it gets really serious in the hand, and then when the hand's finished, everyone's like, oh, back to normal.
What's the most you ever won in a game? Don't
Cool.
worry, the tax office doesn't.
Yeah,
listen
oh
to
yeah.
this.
Australia's the gambling country. Like they don't
Yeah.
tax. In America, they do. I think. That's
Yeah,
what I heard.
they do.
Like when you win, like let's say a big sports bet, like you get taxed on it.
Yeah, and lotto. You get taxed on lotto in
Yeah.
America. Yeah.
Jeez. Yeah. The gambling country, Australia.
Yes and no. It's still very. You can't. You know, casino licensing is insane.
Yeah, but
Like
we
America,
don't need
you can open a casino. Like
Yeah, but we don't need casinos because there's a poker machine every 5 meters here.
yeah.
That's why
true.
the people in America love Vegas because they see slot machines, and when I'm there, I just don't even turn my head at them because we grow up there around us all
everywhere.
the time.
Yeah.
So 12,000. Is that what you were
Yeah,
saying?
it was in Melbourne,
It's not a bad day.
playing in Melbourne Crown. Yeah.
What's the most you ever lost in a game?
Most ever lost in a game was probably 6K.
Okay, that's all right.
Yeah.
then.
So
The
did
stakes
you-
I was playing wasn't like really massive.
Yeah.
It was like 5-5, 10, 2-5, 10, 2-1-2, 2-3, 2-5.
Did you play a lot in casinos or just house games, or did you mix it? Like,
Yeah.
how does
mix
it work?
Yeah, because like you got to be actively like looking around, right? You
Okay.
can't just be like staying in one spot.
So you're playing in the casino so you can get invited to house games. Are house games generally better EV or casinos better?
House games are generally better EV because you get the more looser people who are like, you know.
Drug dealers.
So all the sharks congregate in the casinos and then you get all the... But how do the fish or whatever you call them. What's the term that you call someone like me that just rocks up to one of these games?
I'll answer just from what because I trying to remember, was it Dan Bilzerian or someone like that? Trying to explain how he made 50 million playing poker because not everyone believes him.
Yeah,
it was
not sure.
He's allegedly made like 70 million in one day from one guy. The guy just wanted to play with a pro, and he said that's how you make money. Is there's the professional poker players that you see on TV, like Daniel Negreanu, who's can't just rock up to a private game, although everyone wants him to come. But then what you'll probably find it, and this I'm wanting you to correct me if I'm wrong, is they try and get a whale or someone that has money or a few people that have money that like to gamble and some who want to play versus good players.
Yes.
So you're potentially invited as the good player or as a dealer or something, but then like if someone has 500 million to them, they lose $10,000, they still had a great day. Or $10,000 for a good player who's not worth hundreds of millions.
Yeah, usually these whales, they would go to casinos and ask for like a private game to be set up, and then
Who do the casinos reach out to? Is there a list?
No, they don't need to because they just say there's a game and then people know.
Or they just walk around, just announce it, or
yeah, because sometimes they're playing on the main floor, like just on a table like a bit further away from the others, and all the professionals would like jump in that game, right? And then there will be a lot of people that back them, like by action, you know what I mean? Like I'll give you like 50 grand, and then but you give me this much percent
of what you win.
Yeah, exactly. You
is that other players, or is there people there just watching to do that?
No, watching. That's definitely, you definitely have to know them and be on good terms with the player to not just openly. No. So there's people who buy action into this person and this person, and then sometimes they get unlucky, and then the whale wins, and then it's bad. But most of the time,
Have you seen a whale win?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, anyone can win, right?
Well, it's still
and they must love it, right? I can imagine this fat, greasy
but that's why they're
whale
doing it, right? They're doing it for that rush.
Their ego just must
exactly.
go,
I got a good play. I got him. You know
I got the pros.
These guys think
They
they
suck.
know everything. They don't know me.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. But have you seen?
And they won on like really low odds.
Yeah. It happens all the time, and they love it. I think that they're probably just chasing after that feeling.
That's what they're doing.
You know what I mean?
That's my
and they don't care if they lose. You know what I mean? They have the role. They have the money for it. You know, they're like lose. Okay, but that one time I get them is like yes. I like to see the professionals suffer.
Have you seen a whale lose so big?
Yeah.
Do they get salty?
More common. You probably see whales lose often.
Yeah.
Do they get salty? Have you ever, or not really? They're just like, whatever.
Yeah, they're usually like pissed off their face. So,
what's the most you've seen a whale lose?
Well, different poker players have different crowds, right? Like different stakes. The stakes I was playing wasn't really that big, so like I'm not getting the whales I think you're thinking about.
Sure.
Like those,
but even in the casino, like
in casino, I don't know those people. I just know that there's a game there.
Okay. Yeah, gotcha.
On that level.
What made you quit that and get into a game store?
Yeah, how did that?
Yeah, because it's back to that. It's like it's just such a fast-paced lifestyle. You know, like there's no like every day just different. It's just so fast, and everyone's a degen. And then like I was just like one day I woke up and like I just wanna let's open a game store. It was actually David Huang.
Yes.
Yeah. Because he and I used to play poker too.
Oh, did he play poker?
Exactly. Yeah. I kind of drew him into it, and then he's pretty good.
He's pretty good,
yeah.
is he?
Yeah, he's pretty good. So, and then I think he brought his Magic cards to one of the games, and then he's like, "Oh, Magic, you should play Magic again." And then I was like, "Okay, yeah, it's fun." I tried it. It was actually, I still like Magic, yeah. And then, that was when I started thinking about, is poker what I really want to do? It's like, then the next day I woke up, I was like, fuck it, let's just do it. I have like no experience opening a business or like I never worked in a game store either. Like I applied for, I think I applied for GamesCube like a long time ago when I was in high school, but
you weren't the only one.
Yeah, and that's a no. And I think Good Games too, but yeah, no answer. It's kind of like a learn as I go thing. Like I was just
How was it going? How long has it been open now?
But
2
you
years?
did
nah, 1 year.
you opened at like the worst time.
Oh yes.
Just before. That's why I respect you so much, because like in a lot of ways, but you literally opened what, like a month before the COVID outbreak and the
The grand
lockdowns?
opening, the first day of opening was the first day of lockdown.
Yeah, I could not believe it. I felt just so heartbroken for you, that to see the effort that, you know, we had talks, and, you know, to see this thing just like literally just get chopped away at the knees by the lockdowns. It just lasted forever.
Yeah.
How did you mentally keep your
Did you go back to poker or something?
No.
fortitude? How did you bloody, you know, balls up and get through all that and come out the other end?
I don't know. It was kind of like just running into a train. You know what I mean? Like, because like the lockdown is the train, and then you're like walking on the tracks. During lockdown, I was doing like delivery services. So like some people would actually buy from the online store, and then we'd do like local deliveries, like of sleeves and singles and stuff. And this kind of just barely, you know, like still losing money, but just staying alive, you know, staying alive. And then as the, you know, the restrictions and stuff started going off, then things started to, you know, get better. And then just hanging on here and there. And yeah, it's an up and down thing. Yeah. But there's growth. That's what I see.
But you've built an amazing community across not only Flesh and Blood, other games as well.
Yeah. So yeah, I've been trying to get into other games, like learning how to play other games too, like Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, all those other games. Because like you kind of, it's better if you know the game.
Yeah, definitely.
Because when you don't know the game, and then like that community comes in, and then they can't really like talk to you about.
They want to see
know
you
what I mean?
excited about their game.
Yeah, exactly. Like
that's how you build a community.
Yeah, exactly. It's like you're talking about a new Dory card and stuff, and I don't even know what Flesh and Blood is. I'm like, okay, cool. Yeah.
No, well, I had that issue with certain LGSs. They're like, if the staff, no one can talk to you about it, or they talk shit about it. It's worse if they, you know what I mean? Like, that's a shit game, but you sold the product. You can't do that. But no, your store's always like, there's always different games going. What is it Vanguard that they play?
Vanguard and Weiss Schwartz. Yeah, that's a pretty popular game because we ran what they could call it, the BCS, which is kind of like there's a nationals, like Fab Nationals for Weiss.
Oh, right.
It's an official tournament run by the company Bushy Road. They basically get people in Australia who are like I don't know, I'm not sure. I think they work for Bushy Road too, and then they like look for places to like run this tournament. And then one of the people asked me, and then I was like, okay, awesome. And then we had like 49 players for that event, and that was pretty good for a game that we've only like really started to push like for about a month. Yeah.
So are you happy with? Since we come out of lockdown, like the direction of the store, like you really feel like you're building something.
Yeah, it's different because like in the poker world, is like, you know, like your money is like going up and down, and you're not really. It's not really about the money anymore. It's like it's about building something. It's like I'm getting the satisfaction from seeing like this community grow, and it's like this thing that I started, and I'm seeing it grow. You know, I mean, like these people, and they come here every week and they play. You know, and then people meet new people, new friends, and that, and it's just a different level of satisfaction, I think.
I just love your store. It's always clean. There's plenty of table space. You got lots of singles, the lighting, the painting. It's a very aesthetically pleasing place. I think you've done a great job in a short amount of time. It's definitely got its own style, but that's what I like about LGSs. That's what makes them cool. Every LGS has its own quirky way of doing things. And I know like you have a real affinity with competitive play, right? You like before you open too, you really want, not that you don't welcome beginners, but you're definitely all about rewarding the players that put in the time to advance their skills in the game and get good, you know, with the way you do your tournaments and stuff. Is that something you still pursue?
Yeah, that was my idea from the beginning, but then like I'm learning as I go, right? So I tend to notice, I make mistakes and then I learn from them. Like, oh, it's not all about the competitive play and that, and you have to cater to everyone. As a LGS, you can't just be like, I like this game, I'm only going to support this game. Only going to support the competitive players, screw everyone else. If you're thinking like that, then you're going to fail.
Well, I think, we were talking about it just before. You can't have, like, super competitive games aren't even fun to watch because, like, you don't feel like you can aspire to do that. Do you know what I mean? Like, StarCraft 2 is a very hard game to watch unless you play it.
Yeah, exactly.
Does that make sense?
If you don't know what's going on.
Well, League, you can watch it because, like, you'll see someone wombo combo a whole team. Like, 2 people kill 5 people because they just line something up and it's fireworks. But you can go, oh, yeah, I could do that. I could do that with my buddy. We can, like, partner up and do it. But StarCraft 2 is, like, all you. Yeah. You have to. Yeah. Same as why more people always watch poker than chess. Like, chess, you have to know chess to watch, to get any joy out of watching it. Poker, you don't need to understand the rules to notice someone lost $1 million. Like, you don't have to, or won.
Yeah, and it's also so simple to get into because it's not like TCGs where, like, oh, you need to buy this deck or that. You just rock up. You know what I mean? You just have to have your money.
With poker, for sure.
So it's really easy
I
to
think
get
too,
into.
you cannot rely on one. Like, if you own a store, you should not be doing. You shouldn't be only picking games you like. You should cater to what you can.
And if you don't have the time,
someone in the community will.
Exactly.
So you can find someone who's like, can you run Weiss for me?
Yeah.
Pay them in product. Give them a few booster packs. Because it's all passion and community. Like you said, that's the fun bit of the store. It's friendships. And it's actually how you end up making money is when there's, like, loyalty that's not forced. People... It's like church. They just rock up because it's Saturday night and you run this event on Saturday night and that's their ritual now. That's what they do on Saturday night. Their wife knows, their family knows. You know, but that's what you want.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter. Like, someone else could be selling a product 10% cheaper, but they don't care. They'd rather pay you that because that's their tip or that's, they want to build this even further and you can't keep a shop open if people aren't. That's why I'm a big believer. If you go to a store and you're paying your $15 entry into a tournament, it always helps to just grab a can of drink with your entry or grab a bottle of water or grab a booster pack or just something, just that little bit.
Yeah, I really appreciate everyone who does that comes into the store. Like every bit, no matter how small it is, it really actually helps.
Yeah. Big time.
Well, especially there's more margin in, like, a Snickers bar than there is a booster pack, like on percentage. Like at the economically, there's not much money in a game store. Like in the core of it, like selling, like to make your full profit from set releases, you need pallets. I did the numbers. I'm like, so if there's not enough money, it's $20 a case, $30 a case you make in profit or whatever. Like, that's not enough.
Yeah.
And yes, you can put your prices up, but then you sort of have to justify it somehow. Like, you can maybe charge more for a draft and make some money that way. But to really, like, make a livable wage off, like, selling sealed product, very fucking hard.
Yeah.
You do singles, which is, funnily enough, it's crazy that that's, like, better than half the stores we go to that don't have singles. I don't know how they survive. I don't know how you...
Are you the only store in Sydney that has a decent Flesh and Blood single collection? I think you are, right? In Sydney, I don't think there's any other stores that have a big singles collection.
I mean, technically, good games have Flesh and Blood singles.
Yeah, but I mean in store. You can't go to a good game store and
you have to order it.
Yeah, order. I'm talking in store. I can go to Chromatic Games and go, okay, I want to build a Viz deck. Let's build a Vizorite deck. I've only got 20% of the cards. I'll go to Andy, get there an hour early, and buy the Delta, play the deck. I don't think there's any other stores you can do that in Sydney.
I don't know of any.
I don't know.
Like, I know the good games ones generally don't have singles.
Oh, yeah.
Like, they might have a couple of slabs behind the counter. Here's the question, though. How do you do it as a store? Because you seem to have singles. Like, I don't sell you singles, so you obviously buy them off the market, or do people come in? Like, how do you actually acquire singles? How do you make money from them?
From Fab singles or?
Well, in general, but Fab, like, related, yeah.
For Fab singles, sometimes I look out on like the market pages and that, and try to see if anyone wants to, like if there are any good deals to pick up, like, and I always try to pick up the cards that like people are gonna be using. Because I think some people buy like collections, and then there's like a bunch of like maybe like 80% of it is not gonna move for like the next few months.
Yeah,
and you're only gonna move like a little bit of it, so like that's not really worth the time for that collection. So you got to be very careful on where you allocate the business funds.
Yeah, or your money's just frozen in cardboard.
Yeah, exactly.
Can't pay rent with cardboard.
Yeah, 100%.
And just a side note, like Sydney must be, Australia at large, but particularly Sydney, must be one of the hardest, for our viewers, one of the hardest places in the world, and I don't say this lightly, in the world to run a small business. Our rents in Sydney are seriously one of the highest in the world. The amount of red tape and bureaucracy there is attached to running a small business, tax, is crazy. Like legitimately, running a small business in Australia is very hard. That's why our economy, it plays in other areas in Australia, not really in the small business world, unfortunately, and particularly in Sydney. So for a young man like our friend Andy here to do that, get through COVID in a very niche market, in an expensive part of Sydney, to be quite honest, it's, you're doing well, man.
Oh,
I think you're doing really well. And you know what? Like, even though I don't think he deserves any of these accolades, I do want to like mention that, like, the Dark Lord, like, his metaphor, like his sons, you know what I mean? Like 3 of them now own game stores. Like out of our group that was like, this was our home LGS for many, many years, 3 of them own game stores and 1 of them worked for LSS. Like, what's that telling you? People out there that are running stores that have young kids coming, like, like late teens or early 20s, and you're an older person, you've been through it, like really foster those young people and champion them. Like if they want to go out and do their own things, like don't get salty about it, really support them, because, when you're young and you're playing in these stores, you create such good memories and good feels that now people like Andy want to replicate that and open their own business. It's very inspiring. Yeah.
On that note, Cube's moving. I still don't know where.
Oh, yeah, I heard that too.
Double the space, he said.
Double the space? Wait,
Double.
Isn't
Double the play
still
space.
in Para? Or?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, still in Para.
Yeah, I'm not sure where. I'm trying to find out. That could be good. I just wish they had like Nationals was run at an LGS. Did you go to Nationals? You were there.
Fab Nationals?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How horrible was it, man? You could have run a better event than that with your eyes closed and your hands tied behind your back. Maybe you don't want to I've shit talked that event enough.
Do you like running events? Like, is that something you enjoy about owning LGS?
Yeah,
like running events, you enjoy that? The logistics and organising it
100%.
and the timings and...
Yeah, and it's kind of like a challenge too. So it's fun because like coming into this with zero experience running events and that is like, it's a learn as I go thing.
But I think as a player, that you will always do it better than someone that's not, that's doing it from a money perspective. Because you sort of know what you expect at least.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because exactly. You used to be, because I used to be a player too, right? So, well, I still am.
You still are.
But
You're quite a good fab player, by the way. Like I was impressed because when you were fairly new, so was I. Like you clearly picked up the game very well at a high level because you're playing ProQuest and doing well. Like,
if Andy wasn't running a store and he just played Fab 24/7, he'd be one of the best for sure.
do it. It's 100K for Worlds, man. It's not too late. We'll get you a PTI.
Yeah, you gotta be really dedicated and really like super good. But I don't think I'm super good.
I don't think you're super good because you don't play enough. Like, I think you
I
could
get
be
what you're-
super good.
Yeah.
You could be pretty damn good, I believe. So what about, you got people working for you? Let's big shout. The reason why I say that, I know you have at least one person. James,
Yeah,
I
James.
love James. James is like, oh
Who's
my
James?
gosh. He's if,
He's
if,
like
the-
Lord.
if Andy's the brain of the Chromatic games, James is the heart. Okay,
Yes, he is.
he really
definitely
is.
Wild, man.
So have you just got the James working for you, or you got multiple staff?
At the moment, just got James on because hiring people for a small business is actually a really
It's hard in Australia.
very high
Real
high
hard.
expense. You know, it's
Yeah.
like if you're paying someone, for example, like I don't know, like 500 a week or something. Like how many like Snicker bars do you have to sell to like tank that? You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
every week it's like this. It's like you're just losing money, right? But you need, and then labor just like puts more pressure onto that, and
Especially when the majority of LGS's events are outside of core business hours, right? It's not like people that work for you are doing all the work during the 9 to 5. Like you have to pay them penalty rates, which is fair enough. But it's complicated. So it is complicated. I don't envy you. Well, I kind of do, but
What, running a store?
yeah.
Yeah, he wants to run a store.
I've wanted to for a very long
you
time.
can
but
run
it's,
my store.
but it's just never been the
Would
right
you sell
timing
your
for
store?
me.
Would I sell my store? Ooh.
I know it's a weird question. I'm always curious. No, I'm not buying.
Maybe, I don't know. Like
I mean, when you you're still living your dream life right now. Is that how it feels? Like it's still what you want to be
exactly,
doing. Yeah.
But maybe if someone offers the right number, and I'm like, oh crap, maybe.
But then you just open another game store. Yeah.
yeah, maybe. You know
Don't
what I mean?
sign another.
Yeah, Andy would open up next door,
Across the
literally
road.
next door.
He'd call it Chromatic 2.0.
Yeah.
So what's the vision moving forward? What's your 1 year, 3 year plan for Chromatic Games?
That's the thing. When I got into this, I didn't really have a plan. It was just kind of like do it as I go, kind of thing. Well, the ultimate goal was just to have, if the business could just maintain itself, like be able to pay like 2 or 3 employees, and just have the store running by itself without me operating, then that's already the dream, I think. You know what I mean? It's just like I have a place that is of my own that I can play at, and I can get product and start, and the business is maintaining itself, so I don't need to commit like more of my time to run it, so I can just do something else and enjoy it at the same time. Because when you're operating a store, it's like you're not playing as much as you think you would have when you thought of starting in the beginning.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, you think you'll be playing more. You're like, oh yeah, I'm going to be playing cards every day and this and that. But no, it's like you're more of slowly like not being able to play the games. You know what I mean?
There's always something to be done when you own a business.
Yeah.
There's always something you can do. Yeah, it never stops.
Well, if you want to do it well,
Yeah, 100%.
if you want to do it, you can play all
Yeah, you
day,
can,
but
yeah.
the business will fall apart.
Yes, 100%.
It won't be
100%,
clean.
yeah.
Bills won't be paid. Distributor won't send you stock. You know,
It's like, should I pay the rent or should I get a cold foil tunic?
I've got
That's
a
an
couple
easy answer. That's a very easy answer.
You get the tunic, then okay, bye bye.
Is Andy sitting on the sidewalk with a foreclosure sign? He's like,
Yeah.
It's just like, my precious, my precious.
Yeah, that'd be funny.
man, tunics are expensive.
Yeah.
This is like the rainbow foil full art one that I had one and I auctioned it, and I should never have sold it because it's so hard to get one. Then there's like a gold, like trying to collect tunics is the worst thing to get in. Don't get
Really?
in.
Crap. I kind of started
There's so
trying
many
to collect
versions of
the
it.
rainbow foil tunic.
Yeah, like many of them, or
I've got 9.
okay.
9 rainbow
Yeah, but
foil
by the way,
tunics.
that's the card for Fab.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the heart. Like the most iconic card in 10 years will be the tunic,
what
I believe.
think,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
That's my. There's full art versions. It's a very powerful play piece without being too powerful. Like any deck can run tunic.
Yeah, and also I think I heard James White say something about him wanting tunic to be like always a core staple of Flesh and Blood and like always a viable option. Like
That's how it feels like it's designed. I don't think they're gonna come out with a better version.
Yeah, he doesn't
of
want to
it.
like power creep it so that tunic becomes irrelevant. You know what I mean? He always wants tunic to be a viable slot for the chess piece.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm like, you know.
No, I'm on board.
Yeah, so I'm
I
like,
believe that too.
I really think tunics are good.
Get some white border ones,
Yeah.
man.
White border one, I'm not sure
They're
about
actually
that.
more. They cost more than the rainbow.
Yeah, I
foil
know,
one.
but
What about the Chromatic?
No.
that's okay too. Like,
What is that? Was that?
The problem with the Chromatic is the
That's
first
what I've got. I run the
The
Chromatic.
first edition and the unlimited ones are like the same card, even though Crew first edition is like 6 times more expensive a box to open. But the tunic is not 6 times more. I don't know how many of my videos you watch, but I opened 1 case of WTR recently, 2 tunics
oh,
on
wow.
camera.
2 tunics.
2 tunics, 2 E strikes in the case. insane case.
I remember that box you opened. The
Yes.
couple of few boxes
We
you
opened
in my
loose
store.
boxes, a heart,
Heart, tectonic playing,
and three E-strikes.
I think 3 non-foil E-strikes and 1 foil E-strike.
That was crazy.
Yeah, it was like, what the hell?
I have some. The thing is, people think I'm very lucky, but I just open 100 times more than the average person. So I hit the lucky things,
Yeah,
but
that
in
makes sense.
between, it's like poker. It's like it's just still luck. I just play more hands, so I'm more likely to see
yeah.
a pair of aces than you are because I
Yeah,
play more
yeah,
hands.
yeah.
So, but I post the 2 aces. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I post my quads. I always post them, but you have to play 10,000 hands to see one. I just get there quicker than most people.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
So what TCG seal product do you move the most out of the games that you stock?
At the moment, it's Magic.
What about singles?
Singles, Magic.
Okay, that doesn't surprise
It's still
me.
the granddaddy, right?
Yeah,
It's still
it's
the
still
big
the
one.
Yeah, it's got the
granddad.
largest player base. Makes
Do you
sense.
think so? I made I didn't make this opinion. I've been talking about this opinion. Tulare Community College, because I don't mind getting into this a bit, because you play Magic, you love Magic, you definitely run it in your store. Tulare Community College did a video on the 30-year booster packs. His line is 60 fake cards for $1,000, right?
Yeah.
I, as an outsider, 'cause I've never played Magic. I've played with 2 of those free decks you get. You know, you're supposed to turn up to an event and you get the decks for free. It was in the middle of COVID, and I convinced GamesCube to give me the decks and tried to play it. And it's hard to work out to play with the decks alone. That was the only experience I've ever had in Magic. It feels like to me, as an outsider, that this 30-year bullshit might kill the game in the long run. The sentiment. Like, seems like Wizard of the Coast have lost players here and there, because you meet a lot of the lost people in Fab, like the people that, you know, they left Magic for Fab. You meet people that play both, but after this 30-year thing, has the noise from it, like the amount of people you hear complaining, is way more than I've heard before. Everyone complains Magic all the time, but they still play it. Like, they play their chosen format or whatever. Do you feel like there's, like, from a store owner, do you see any of that, or are the numbers great? Like, you just, no difference?
I just feel like they're like Wizards is like trying to move to like to cater to a different market. I think like
You mean like high-end collectors?
not necessarily, but like more of the casual, like general public. You know, like make it. How to explain it?
Commander.
Yeah.
Can I tell me if I'm right? You're trying to say the die-hard Magic player that's been playing since '93 feels insulted by these packs because, you know, reserve list and he owns an Alpha Lotus, and like, why are they doing it? But you're saying Magic are catering to people that never had the chance to do that. Like a 16-year-old now might look at this and go, you know what, I'm going to spend my $1,000 for Christmas on this pack and hopefully hit something that I can't afford to hit otherwise.
Yeah, but it's a proxy.
I know, but it's the only way you're ever going to... It's like, okay, let's put it in this. How would we feel, legitimately, if Flesh and Blood went 10-year anniversary kit? You can buy Alpha WTR packs with fake backs, but you can hit a cold foil heart.
A real one.
Yeah, but it's a proxy. It's not tournament.
Not a
league.
real one.
You can hit up.
No, but it's still a cold foil heart. Like, they go back, as they said, they'll never reprint cold foils, but they go, no, these are going to have promo on the bottom. On the back, it's going to have Flesh and Blood 10-year anniversary, but because the back is different, you can't shuffle them together. It's not.
but
Like, how would we actually feel?
Look, I don't think I don't know if I like that analogy. The way I think about this Magic 30, it's not going to destroy the game. Okay, it's just not. Are they going to lose a percentage of their player base? Sure, 0.5% maybe, 1%. For those that were already teetering, right? For people that were already like questioning Hasbro's decisions, what's his decisions over the last couple of years, maybe this is the straw that broke the camel's back. Okay, sentiment is important, but remember, you know, there's 4 or 5 different groups of people that love Magic, you know, and the first group that comes to mind are people that just have no idea what's going on. They never look at content. They literally couldn't even tell you what fucking Magic content is. They couldn't even tell you anything about this Magic 30. They would have no idea. And they're just sweet to play Arena every day or play in their commander pods once a week, and they just literally couldn't give a shit. They don't know. They literally don't know what's going on. And then you've got the other group that's just in total denial. They just think Magic is exactly the same it was in 2012. They just literally are in total denial about everything. And I know some people like this. They just are in so much denial. Then you've got the people that it's almost like they're in an abusive relationship with a significant other. So every time Wizards comes out with some poor, decision that they've been doing over the last 5 years, 6 years, these people just cop it on the chin, go, oh, that hurt, but I still love you. And they just run back to the ex or the partner that's just smacking them across the face. They're just like, it'll be better. Trust, what's he's like, trust me, it'll be better. I'll change, I'm different. It was just once off, it'll never happen again. And then it fucking happens again. And that person scurries away and then comes back and, and what's his there going, oh, it'll never happen again. But it keeps fucking happening.
That's exactly what I'm touching on.
But then you've got one more group like me, that still loves Magic. Like, it was my everything about it. But I just know that it's never going to go back. Never. I know that the company completely changed their whole business model, concept, culture, everything about it from the top down, inside out. The way they distribute, sell. Man, they sell fucking singles, okay? They sell direct to market through Amazon, and they sell singles. I don't even need to say anything more, okay? Really, I don't.
We're agreeing here.
Yeah.
Because that's so.
But it's not going to collapse. That's what I'm saying.
but
it's not going to collapse.
What I see is this is the peak of all of this happening. Like, again, I haven't experienced it because I don't have any passion for Magic. Just the way people are talking about Magic. We were complaining about too many set releases a year ago. When I started looking into Fab, I was also around Magic a lot because that seems to be the way it is. It's a similar crowd. People were already complaining then. Now they're complaining more. Now they're pointing out that there's been more than one. There's been, on average, a secret lair every week or whatever it is. You know what I mean? There's been like more than 52 secret. No, but it's culminating. It's actually peaking. Like, they didn't go, all right, we're doing 52 secret lairs a year and just kept it there. It's like now they also want $1,000 for this booster pack. And I think that, that's pushing people from those categories out.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean? Like, there's people that have been apologizing or have been apologists for Wizards that are now not. Like, in our own group as well. We had a new player recently, sold his whole collection, like, overnight. He came, played Fab with us once. He's like, man, I'm selling my Magic collection because the community's shit and I'm sick of having to buy so many products. I'm just going to sink some money into Dynasty. Like, I haven't seen it at that level before. That's what I'm saying.
I wanted to sell my Magic collection 2 years before I even played Fab. But then 6 months, 9 months after playing Fab, that was enough of a motivator to me. I'm like, I haven't touched these cards in 2.5 years. Now I'm going to sell out. But I always wanted to sell before the fact, but Fab was just like, yeah, I'm never going back, so I might as well just get rid of them.
So I know I asked you the question. I've got James White on the channel in a few days. That's what I want to ask him. I definitely want to hear what he thinks. Because I think his company is partially getting some growth because of Wizards doing what they're doing. Because he's trying to emulate. I don't think he's trying to emulate Magic because he also has a background in Yu-Gi-Oh! And other games. And
there's a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh! People in LSS.
I think he's just trying to emulate the golden era of card games. That's what he's trying to do, is keep it.
His fond memories. Yeah.
Yeah, but what works? They're fond because it worked. It's
Yeah.
when you had the most players and the biggest competitive circuit, and he's trying to do that.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see, we saw him at Pro Tour 1. He was like... he was like a madman. He couldn't walk a meter without getting, mobbed by people for autographs. They wouldn't leave him alone. Worlds is going to be nuts. Worlds is going to be absolutely
You're going,
nuts.
right?
We're both going, yeah. He's playing. I'm just going to go play the calling.
Okay.
Hang out with people.
Is anyone from Chromatic going over? Valentine or anyone?
No, Valentine said I don't think he's going.
Okay.
Is it because I beat him in France? Is that why he's not going?
Oh, you beat him in France?
Yeah.
Or in one of the rounds?
Oof, that's rough.
And at nationals, I faced him. I went, dude, why do we have to travel and play against each other?
Dream crush.
So what would you, as a store owner, okay, because we don't have a lot of store owners on this pod, what would you like to see from LSS that would help you as a store owner over the next 12 to 24 months?
Good question.
Like, what would you like to see?
I'll literally ask James White.
Yeah, there's...
What would you ask him? Like, if you had his...
Yeah, if James White was right here and he just said...
What would you want?
What would you want that would help you succeed?
I feel like there's not enough products that really show what Flesh and Blood really is. Like, the Blitz decks, like, a lot of new players who've just gotten into the game because they bought the Blitz deck to try with their partner.
It doesn't
or
even get
something,
you
yeah.
close to playing.
Yeah, that's what I feel like. It kind of gives them like a trial edition, like, you know, of a game. It's just it's not like the full experience. So then it's like,
Well, a good example is Droma has no invokes in it, no dragons, 0. Like, that's a weird thing.
yeah,
Because it's like the dragon mummy character with no dragons.
because the first deck I played when I started learning Flesh and Blood was the Bolton Blitz deck.
Yes,
And
same.
It was so confusing to me. I don't know, like, what.
It's very confusing.
Yeah, I was like, what the hell is this game? This game sucks.
And where is the soul? Yeah,
I love that Bolton Blitz deck.
Yeah.
No, but you need you need someone to really talk you through it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
It's not, man, because Grace and I played it when we got all 4 of the Monarch ones. Man, I couldn't work out like light and shadow and banish. Banish was easy because the thing says banished, but then soul didn't tell. It's like, put this underneath your hero card, and what does it even mean? It's a new zone.
Yeah, it was when Yazi and his mate first came to Chromatic to play our first ever Armory. I never played Flesh and Blood before, and then I did with the Bolton Blitz deck, but then I kind of like quit. And then his mate gave me his Ira deck,
Right.
and he was playing Kano. So he told me to join the Armory, you know, just to give it a try in that. And then I get paired up against him round 1, and then he doesn't have Null Rune in the Ira deck, yeah. So he's versing me as
He's
Kano.
a smart guy.
Yeah, and then I'm like attacking. Oh, I like this. I like this hero. This hero. I don't like. Flesh and Blood is very fun. Yeah, like, and then but then he started attacking me with, like, you know, Arcane, and then I was like, okay. He's like, oh, you can't block it. And I was like, what the hell is wrong? This game's stupid. And I just die. I just lose. I'm like, okay.
So what you'd want to see from LSS is what, some sort of product or something that can showcase.
I think the Classic Battles is the closest to that right now, but it's also, there's one product, it's a little bit overpriced, and you can only get Warrior Reinhardt. Like, there's no...
Yeah, but like when you buy the Classic Battles deck, can you transition from that into like a competitive Classic Constructed straight away? Like,
Classic Constructed? No. So actually, one of my questions on the list is, when are we getting a Classic Constructed Classic Battle?
yeah, exactly.
That's what I want to
thinking,
see.
like,
I'd imagine Prism, Chain, Adult, new versions. Or even if the set came as the 2 decks, a Blitz, and then here are the 40 cards you put in, or however many cards. Like, you just put them in to play CC.
I feel like that in Magic they're bringing out things like Challenger decks. It's like if there was an equivalent in Flesh and Blood, it would be like a pre-constructed CC deck of like maybe Katsu or something, yeah.
Sure.
And then it would give you like 1 Command and Conquer in the box, and then gives you the full build with the sideboard and everything, like ready to go.
Okay.
And like you can
It's easy to upgrade.
Yeah, exactly. You just you need to get 2 more Command and Conquers. You need to, you know, or you need to upgrade the helmet, something like this. You know, like something to like just get people into the game like straight away. They can walk in on a Friday and Armory and just say, "Okay, I'm gonna pick this up and I can play."
Yeah.
You know.
I think we've talked about this at length when we drive up to Blood Rush. I think it's very hard to do that. So either you make a proper Dory deck with all the legendaries and all the majestics in it. So yeah, I could take it straight to a skirmish or Blitz Armory and it'll perform well. But then every player that had to crack boxes to get those cards is going to feel a bit salty that it's a $50 deck, versus the Classic Battles have like cracked baubles in the deck where there's no way you can just play that deck. But I still think it's close. Have you tried the Classic Battle decks in an Armory?
No, I have not.
Yeah, they work.
Oh yeah.
At least you have a full set of armor. You have a defense reaction and an instant in every deck. So at least it teaches you that. And I think it's up to content creators to then make an upgrade guide. We just don't have very many good ones doing that. Like the minute, like I wish LSS would contact the content creators early and go, here's the deck coming out. Our suggestion officially is these 10 cards to upgrade. Like if they did all the work and then the content creators could go make guides on it, it would help. Because Sloopdup was telling me like he's done a lot of these. He did it for the Uprising Blitz decks. He's got an insane amount of views, especially every time like a big content creator talks about Flesh and Blood, his video gets like 500 views because people go, I want to buy this Dromai Blitz deck, but how do I get it into a real playable deck? We just don't have enough of that content. I think Fab's still on the smaller scale. Like there's not enough incentive for, like I'm lucky I make a couple $100 a month from my channel because I like guilt people into paying $2 a month to be members. You know what I mean? But like, it would be insane to try and get that to like 2,000 a month or something to make it like I could put 10 hours into each video to edit. Like I don't spend time. Do you know what I mean? Like there's nowhere big enough to get good content. Like I'm not saying we don't have good content. I'm saying that's a content problem too, is a very easy to follow guide. And what you mentioned before, it's super fucking hard to buy singles. Like you can't go to one place, put a list in, go buy.
Like that's the thing. Like I do think that you do make a good point, Andy, about that product. The only problem is with a product like that, there really is that fine line between keeping the game as a TCG and moving it into that living card game status. Because if you can just sell, if LSS just sells predefined decks with
that
the
are
chase
really
cards
good,
that are really good, that's all a player needs, then that player's not really going to buy a sealed product. At best, they might buy a few singles. It's just, I'm not saying it's not a good idea, and you probably can do it, but you'd have to really put a lot of thought into it as to not stuff up the whole ecosystem. Because I think if you go like a little...
Well, the minute you put a Command and Conquer in one of those decks, you can see the problem. You can see people going, my Command and Conquer's been going to be worthless.
Put like a whiteboard on one inside or something.
I'm not even saying it shouldn't happen. I'm saying people will complain. I think that's what they're weird. Like,
but people are always going to complain.
Any other ideas?
No. Like, by the way, it's a very fucking good question. Like that's something I already have on the list about like the constructed one, because that's Also, on the same note, it's a very good question for revenue for a store. Okay, you sell the set release products, but these middle products that come between sets, like classic battles, like new Blitz decks, are very important to keep your customers' wallets open. Because if you only get 3 sets a year, and that's when the majority of the spending happens, where are the other products to keep you going? Do you know what I mean? Because the classic battle was a good middle of the product launch cycle product. You had some pre-orders, you sell some. It's not. I know it's not huge money, but it still brings revenue. Accessories even like the playmats in the US, they get the actual sealed playmats like in a cardboard thing.
And the Dragon Shield fab sleeves and stuff. Yeah,
you can't get them.
Oh, I can.
Yeah. But again, more like where's the Dory ones? Like if they were on a quicker cycle.
Yeah, well, that's why Hasbro's releasing so many sets. Because like every time they release sets, they see they make money. They're like, okay, let's just keep doing this.
Yeah, but again, you can't do it too much.
Well, you can't. It's a public company. They're just going to push the envelope. It's unsustainable. They know that.
But
they're going to keep going until the market tells them that it's unsustainable. They're not going to be the first ones to initiate.
I think I made this comment on this pod. It's just someone's Christmas bonus that causes these problems. Yeah. It's usually some fucking exec going, you know what? We just need another $5 million in revenue, and I get a $100,000 check. Like that's what it is. Because I was in sales all my life, and I hate it. Like you'll have all these great mutually beneficial deals, but then your manager's like, yeah, but we need an extra 100K because then we get this and that and bonus and we beat last year. Then suddenly people are lying and cheating and stealing to make that last 100K happen.
Everyone's just trying to get paid.
Yeah, but it always causes bad business. Like you said, if the store was just about the money, it's very different to you going, no, the main thing is the community building. That'll always result in, I think, more money long term, more sustainable. And you'll be less stressed if you're enjoying it. Or if all you were doing was milking it for every dollar you can get, you will usually milk it at the detriment of the community because you'll, charge too much. And
what do you think of the OP system with Flesh and Blood. So let's compare it. We say what Magic's doing with F&M, what LSS does with Armory kits, Pro Quests, Magic's doing something, whatever. Like, how do you find the whole, OP support that you get as a LGS?
I think it's what they're doing is really good. Because when I went to my first Pro Quest, it actually gave me the same nostalgia I had when I was playing competitive MTG, like that same feeling, But like right now, Magic has kind of lost its touch for that, and Fab's kind of like a lot of MTG people who have got into Fab in my store. They are chasing after that feeling too, that feeling of nostalgic, competitive TCG tournaments and that, with like good prizes. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of people who are looking for this or joining Fab for this specific reason.
So have you seen, like, recently an uptick in people from Magic coming to Fab?
I feel like it's like waves. At one point, I felt like when Fab got more popular, like more people started coming to the store for Fab, less people started coming to the store for Magic. And then sometimes when Magic is going up, Fab's kind of like, settled down. And then it's up and down.
Yeah.
It's like,
I think Fab has been on a bit of a down. Like Uprising, there was a lot of hype. I think it's been quite obviously all the competitive players, Worlds coming up, there's that hype, but that's 1% of the player base, if that. Everyone else is just waiting for a new set, waiting for new skirmishes. So usually if you play both games, like I haven't wanted to play Fab in a while. I just don't play Magic. But if I did, I'd probably be playing Magic because I don't want to play Fab right now. I think that's healthy, the ebbs and flows. It's losing people completely that's bad. People will always play more than one game. Like if you sold PC games, Xbox games, you can't expect them to play one.
Not everyone though. Like I don't play more than one game. I don't have time.
Sure, but I'm saying like you can't expect. It's not necessarily a win if they only play your game. There's nothing wrong with them playing.
Oh no, not at all. If you've got the time and the means, you go for it. Playing multiple games is good. But
have you tried Talishar?
oh yeah,
What do you think?
it's good. Yeah, it's good. But it's definitely good for the practice. But I feel like are people like playing Talishar instead of going to armories now?
I brought this up. Who knows? But I think it's a moot point now. It exists. And I think it'll probably do more good than harm. I think there is some harm. I don't think you look at it and go, there's no harm, because I do think if you never win your local armory, you might just be tempted to play at home instead of go and actually get better. But then you're losing the community and the friendships and the actual social interaction.
Yeah, 100%.
I think there'll be some people that will fall under that. But then you got all these players that like go into Worlds that maybe are a bit remote. Their local scene is not even competitive, They really need a tool. Like it'll only make the game better. And I think if you had to talk to an MTG mate who wants to play Ira, but they're pretty good card game player, you're better off sending them to Talishar with a FabDB deck list than you are giving them an Ira starter deck and go to an armory. Like the experience, they'll go on Talishar, they can play a few rounds, spend no money and go, okay, all right, I need to buy a mask and a tunic, you know what I mean?
Well, I think there has been an uptick in, not talking about Sydney, I'm talking worldwide in Fab. We see that with, we can see that with our views. We can see that with what the Tolarian Community College, it's building, right? And I've noticed it on Talishar. The last week I've played against maybe 3 or 4 people that have either it's been their first ever game of Flesh and Blood, or they've played less than 3. So somewhere between 0 to 3 games ever. They've never played a paper game.
Here's the thing,
That's happened 4 times in the last week.
The thing.
I'd never seen that before.
I'll be very blunt. If the first experience I had was on Talishar with Flesh and Blood, I would never play it.
Really?
And the reason I played it was I met some fucking cool people. That doesn't make sense. And that's the danger, is if you jump on, like, I think it's both ways. I think some people will jump on Talishar as their first experience and go, I like this game, now I'll spend money. But the Flesh and Blood thing is what actually sells the game. Do you know what I mean? Like, turning up to an armory, but also having someone teach you, show you.
But
Yeah.
The guy that I was playing against, he I could tell, like, literally, this game went for an hour and a half. He was on fire. Okay, I was on Ryan. I went for an hour and a half because it was basically a tutoring session.
Yeah.
Like, the chat was just filled.
Perfect.
And this person was basically, they didn't want to go to an armory without playing. So they literally would rather take their licks on Talishar than go to an armory and not have to, probably a bit insecure, didn't really want to ask people how to do it or whatever pride. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway,
You definitely don't want to turn up and just get smashed.
every turn I was saying, no, take that back.
Do this.
Pitch that. No, why are you doing that? Like, I literally spent an hour and a half teaching this person how to play Fab via Talishar. I don't know who they are. They were just an anonymous account.
Player 1, yeah.
At first, I thought it was a troll. Like, I literally thought it was a troll in the first 10 minutes. I was like, what the fuck is going on here? But then I realised that, no, this person's never played a game of Flesh and Blood. And I said, what the hell? And they'd only just watched the video on the YouTube, on the Fab YouTube, and then they just, boom, Talishar. They'd watched a bit of content.
See, this is why, I don't know, it's the sales expert in me. You get all these people on Talishar. Where do those leads go? That's why I think Fab needs to step in very heavy and do something about it, in the sense of they should partner with them officially or buy them or hire them and go, look, every new player, like, everyone has to register. None of this play with no username bullshit, right? Because you need an email address. You need to be able to contact them. If it's their first game ever, are you a new player? Yes. Give them a little new player badge. So us experienced players know, this person has a little green leaf. They're new, right? Like, you need to protect those people, because when they come in the store, you'll protect them. You're the owner. You're more likely to make sure their experience is good. What you don't want is this funnel of internet, like trolls, people talking shit. Fucking hurry up out of anonymity.
I don't think you would in Talishar. Like,
No, but what I'm saying is,
stakes.
I just feel like Talishar being the way it is right now is not a better way to introduce people to the game than me with the classic battle deck 1-on-1. Because that's how it's designed. But you can't delete things like Talishar. People just go back to TTS. People want to play online. They need it in today's age. And if COVID hits again or something like that, how much better would COVID be if we had Talishar? Do you know what I mean? Like, do you know how good I would be at Fab if it happened during like, if I had Talishar during COVID? But I'm saying is, and they're doing a great job. It's just like a part-time project. I just want to see Talishar fine-tuned and specifically focus on new people coming in. Do you get what I'm saying? Whether it's recommending deck lists officially, whether it's suggesting your local store that's been vetted and you know they have a learn to play event. Like, you can tie all that. It's all data. It's very easy to do. You can easily marry up the gem system. You can marry up your local store. You can, if they register and they verify with a phone number, send them a starter deck. Do you know what I mean? Like, your local, like, if you're a local store and Talishar sent you leads, sent you these 10 new players played, and they're all within a kilometer of you, wouldn't you send them a welcome? The least you'll do is send them a fucking letter. Go, hey, we have a learn to play event coming, and here's your little IRA deck. It's IRA. Like, you would do that.
Yeah, that's all the marketing and information.
Do you understand what I'm saying? That's what I want to see. I don't think it's bad or good. I think you could do so much good if you do it right, and it's a wasted opportunity if you just ignore it.
Yeah, because it depends on what James White wants to do, because he said he just wants this game to be played in the flesh and blood. Like, I think someone asked him in a question about, like, are you going to ever make a MTG arena for flesh and blood? And he said, fuck that.
They're two different things. Yeah. He does not want any of the, my understanding is, no money, no tournaments. He doesn't want to sell packs online, none of that, right? But I know for a fact he's investigated building an app for Flesh and Blood. Because it's a great recruitment tool. Like, if you had the IRA welcome deck where I could get you to download it on your phone and we dueled, it's a perfect way to introduce someone to the game. You don't always have a deck on you. It's still in the Flesh and Blood. So why not? Talashar's the same. If it just brings people in, like, listen, if there's no prize, we already talked about this, if there's no prizing, there's no social, you'll only play Talishar for so long. On its own, it's pretty boring. It's just a way to get better at the game.
It's just a way to test.
Yeah,
or just get reps in. Just get reps in, actually.
Smoothing the transition from that into a store. Like you said, there's people with social issues, people with disabilities, people with bad experiences from Magic that don't want to turn up. Like, they're the people you want to just use that as a funnel. even if all you're doing is recommending they buy a product at the end of each game, like anything that helps LSS grow would be good.
Yeah, I've heard from some players who are interested in getting into Flesh and Blood that they're like, are they afraid that when they get into the game, it's going to be like all serious? It's going to be, it's like, oh, if I'm playing this budget deck or something, and if I'm playing too slow or something,
That's the fear because it's a one-on-one thing. That's why Commander's so big. Is there's less pressure because you're in a group.
Yeah.
It's that one-on-one duel, which is very fun with Flesh and Blood, but also puts pressure on people. Especially if it's like your first experience is a skirmish, people really want to win.
I think I know that you're onto it, but I think like really, PSA for all LGS owners, like if any of your armories have that vibe where people are taking it so serious that they're pressuring people to play quick, they're belittling people from playing janky decks, or they're, making it a bad experience for someone that has like 0 to 12 weeks experience in the game, you need to sort that out and change the culture.
It's up to the owners to be very...
Armories are meant to be a place where people can just come and fuck around, right? You get a price short. Play a strong deck as you get better. Level up, get better, get your XP. I'm not saying any of that, but really that, at the end of the day, that is the lowest tier of organised play. Be casual. In the pyramid.
I remember that's the first thing I noticed about Hayden, because I knew he was a very good player, like from the internet. See him at RC Crew, and he's playing Reiner, and I knew Reiner wasn't good, but I really respected that he's at an armory. He's not there to just crush it. You know what I mean? Because at the point, I thought he was invincible. Like, there's no way this kid drops a game. You know what I mean? But he's playing Reiner, and he lost that armory. He didn't win it. And he's in a pretty competitive armory, but that's a good thing. You don't want to always play your best deck. That's not what we're.
No, that's what we're saying.
But definitely, the owners should be very aware of, like, if you got a new player, make sure the experience is good.
Yeah, I think the FAB community is
by and large is pretty good.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but
I've heard some
people
stories.
Have anxiety about it.
People do have exactly.
Which again, Talishar is a great thing for that, because at least you will show you priorities and when to play a reaction. Like, it helps.
But then when you're too slow, when I first started Talishar and I was like trying to work up the controls, I'm like, what? It's not working yet. And then other guys like, hurry up.
See, this is
that annoys me with Talishar.
But I think Talishar the easy way to fix that is the competitive. Like, to be honest, if you don't, like, if it's not a competitive labeled game, you should shut the fuck up. Like, that's how I see it. Like, if I joined a random CC game and the guy's playing slow, it's annoying, but I never say anything. If I've clicked into your competitive game and you're playing jank or you're playing, I'll call you out. I have. Because it's my name too. It says Fluke. Like, it's not, I'm not
Why haven't I paid into you?
I don't play that much.
I don't play a lot either.
Like, I still much prefer to play on paper. Like, if I was playing Worlds, I'd be on Talishar 5 hours a day, but I'm not playing Worlds, so it's whatever. But I think
I am, and I should be playing 5 hours a day. But
you don't have 5 hours.
I'm playing like 2 or 3 games a day.
But that's what it's good for, because you don't have to drive across town. You can be home. You can make dinner. You can do what you need to do. And then at 11 p.m. when there's no armories, you can play a couple of games, which is, I think, what it's good for. I think it will be the biggest catalyst for growth for LSS. If LSS just do what they're doing, this will increase their growth by a double-digit percentage. I just hope they partner with it properly. They use it properly.
One thing I go on about this every episode. I know it pains some listeners to hear it. I need to ask you, Andy. Dynasty, I'm very pumped for the set. It's going to be phenomenal. It's going to change the metagame, all the rest of it. But I wish it was a draftable set. Okay, I really do.
You're the only one.
I really do. Like, I think it's good for the LGS. I think it's good for LSS. I think it's good for everyone. It sells. I just think it's amazing. Pre-release, all that stuff. From your perspective, would you prefer a draftable set or a subset? Like, do you see the numbers? Like, does it even matter? Am I just like jumping at shadows here?
Is it because you feel like you've been drafting Uprising for ages now?
Yeah, and it feels like the store will sell more sealed product if it's draftable, or am I just...
I think there's a better way to ask this. How did Everfest launch go for you?
Yeah.
As a business?
During the Everfest time, that was when Fab was really peaking, I think.
Well, the reason I ask, we've only had 3 subsets. This will be the third one. We've had Crew, which catapulted the game. Like, that's when the game really started taking off, and then Monarch just really started. But Crew changed. Anyway, Crew, Everfest was huge. The problem with Everfest now is if you still have stock, there's no good cards in it. Like, the potions were hit and miss. Maybe they'll eventually be very good, but they still are not heavily used.
Is Unlimited coming out?
No.
Oh.
Starvo is gone. Do you know what I mean? And then the Fable itself sees very little play. I think it's a Valda. Like, it'll be very good on Valda, but Valda doesn't even have a specialization. It's Blitz only. The set itself, if you look at the EV, is very low. Very, very low. Because Starvo is like the sexiest card in the set, and it's already allowed. But if that wasn't the case, I think it'd still be one of the most popular sets to buy. Because if you think of any competitive deck right now, play cards from Everfest. They don't all play necessarily cards from WTR. I think that's... It can't be a draft set because you have to have the balance, but...
Yeah, I know it can't be a draft set. I'm just saying I want to know from Andy's point of view, would you prefer a draftable set for your store for release, or are you fine with these subsets? Like, is that good enough revenue-wise, and do you think you'll get an increased turnover? Like,
if you talk about numbers, like 100%, then if they release a draft product and a supplementary product, obviously it'll be higher. But I think if they just released a supplementary set, that will spice up constructed formats, right? So constructed will get more popular, and then the game will,
And then you'll sell more singles. You'll
and
be
then
able
the hype
to crack
goes
I was
up
going to
for
say,
it.
maybe that's one way to look at it is maybe stores should look at cracking more subsets to get the singles out. Because most people that would only buy singles if they could, it's when the subset comes out.
Yeah,
they're not going to buy into drafts or anything, so they have to either buy product or singles. So they're, you know what I mean? Like, we got most of our cards from just drafting so much. Like, I'm not like, you'll need Majestics and Legendaries for sure, but every common and rare that you ever wanted, you're going to get from drafting for a few weeks.
And even you usually get a couple of the Majestics.
Yeah, and you'll hit like if you draft enough, you hit a Legendary. I hit a Legendary in Pro Tour. Great. Like, it's free, But I guess, did Everfest singles, do you remember that being a big impact compared to like Tails?
Because my store just kind of started getting into Flesh and Blood singles like a little bit after the FFS like peak. So like people kind of already got their cards in that, so it didn't really have that much of a big impact. Yeah. But then it was when like before nationals, and that was when I noticed that people were starting to pick up more singles in here and there. Yeah. So it really depends on what tournaments are coming up. So if there's a ProQuest coming up soon, then singles go up obviously. And
that's actually a good point. You did get a ProQuest.
Yeah.
I think the only other one is Blood Rush that we know of. There might only be 2.
Really?
Queensland's only getting 1.
Yeah.
But talking about revenue, that's a good point.
That's good for you, man. That means you might get a 60, 70 player ProQuest.
Yeah, man. There's no... Well, it's good because, yes, people will now travel to it. Some of the Queensland guys will say they'll come down because I think you and Blood Rush will be on the weekend.
And that's what, and
they'll just come down for both. But the issue is, if there's not enough ProQuests and you sell singles... You don't have, you know what I mean? If there were double the ProQuest, you might end up with a lot more single sales because people want to, you know what I mean? Like, even though you're not maybe the shop running the ProQuest, you still might get your locals buy singles to go to a ProQuest.
I think this is a great move by LSS, reducing the number of ProQuests. I think it's great.
Yeah.
But what about the LGSs that don't have the ProQuest? They're not getting anything, right? So
that's what I'm saying.
Well, if they're selling singles, they are.
Well, we'll see. The thing is also, we have no idea. Like, the one I'm personally salty about is Grimdark didn't get one because they're still quite regional and they have a very good scene, like a large scene. And when they run a ProQuest or a Road to Nationals or a skirmish, it's packed. It's big as yours, if not bigger, because they have a bigger local scene, I think. But irrespective of numbers, people in Wollongong can't always travel. You know what I mean? Like, if it's a local one, Still an hour and a half away.
I think it hypes the game more. I think if you
I-
have,
I'm not-
I think
I-
if you have 2 in New South Wales, they're going to be bigger tournaments.
Well,
more
I'm
people.
saying
are
we're about to find out.
Yeah.
We're about to find out if they go. But you can't fit 60 people, can you?
Yeah, you can.
I can.
You
Easy.
can. Perfect.
Yeah.
And Blood Rush might have to hire a hall, but if that's what we see, if we see 60-man ProQuest and only 1 or 2 of them, that's way better for me. It's way less time invested. Like I just go to the event and I play it. Do you know what I mean? And I'd rather play in a deeper pool
It
of
makes
people.
gold
We went to one
foils
ProQuest
more
that was like
valuable.
12 people. Like
Yeah.
I don't want to see that ever. There was an RTN with 9 people somewhere in the world. Like what do you mean? You just turn up and no. Do you know, like that should be run as an armory. They shouldn't even be allowed to run a 9-man RTN.
It reduces the amount of PTIs. It reduces the amount of gold foils floating around. It makes them more special. More
As long as they've done it
spectacle.
across the board, like US included. Like as long as if they've reduced everywhere by 50%, that's completely fine as long as it's everywhere.
It'll be reduced, I think.
Based on players.
Yeah, which it should be.
Sure.
You know, like
Yes and no, but the problem with only looking at like a spreadsheet or numbers is Australia doesn't like numbers wise we look like 1/2 of a state in the US, but realistically no one is driving from Sydney to Lismore. Do you know what I mean? Like it's in the same state, but it's not. That's a different country for us. Like it's very unlikely I want to go to Lismore for an event.
Only if it's like a really big event, right?
No, but irrespective, like Australia's very, what's the word? Nothing is close. Nothing is close. Like having one in Sydney does not actually cater to Newcastle and Wollongong. Yes, some people carpool it, but not everyone can. You're not catering for people that have responsibilities, disabilities, whatever it may be. It's just hard to go off numbers alone.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Philippines has the same problem. It's way too many fucking islands. Like some of them literally there's no LGS on their island and that's it. Like there's no way for them to easily travel. Like you got to drive and then ferry and then, you know, you can't do that at 11 p.m. for instance. Like it's problematic. You got to like cater to per region. I think that's actually one struggle LSS has is they don't have the resources to cater per region. Like our nationals would not have looked like that if they had actual eyes on the ground. No fucking way. You know what I mean? There's no way the tables would look like that. There's no way there's no singles at our Australian national. What do you mean there's no singles at national? Imagine not having singles at your nationals.
Yeah.
When there's like 20 stores that would have happily, Blood Rush were happy to come down and sell singles.
I was surprised not to see them there.
But the store running the nationals had fucking singles in their store
Yeah.
and they didn't bring them. What do you mean? Like that's just a problem with how you can, like, that's a simple contract between you and the person running nationals is you have to have singles. Work it out. Either do it yourself or get someone that sells singles as a vendor at your event. Like, it boggles my mind. But I think that's just a LSS thing is they're not big enough to have like an Australian rep that's in tune with Australia. 'Cause if you had an Australian rep that lived in New Zealand but came here, did a tour for a month, went around, talked to people, they'd immediately know where to put the ProQuests. Do you know what I mean? Like they'd immediately know.
Yeah, for that BCS, we ran at for White Shorts.
Yeah.
Bushy Road, they sent a rep
Yeah.
over from Singapore to check out all the tournaments, make sure everything is right. They also have this policy where like you can only use licensed products. Like you can't use a playmat that was fan made or something.
Okay,
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
yeah.
It's like,
No,
yeah, it
Fab
was
has that policy's written in Flesh and Blood.
Oh, really?
It's
So
whether
you
they
can't use...
Oh no, you can't go to a tournament with like a. By the rules, you can't.
Really? They
Yeah.
can't come with a tall team playmat.
Oh, what?
Yeah, but Flesh and Blood, like that's also like a whether you
Are
want.
you serious?
Yeah,
Is that
yeah,
an actual rule?
Yeah,
What the hell?
you can't play on a non-licensed playmat in Flesh and Blood in a tournament.
You're joking, right?
Go read the rule. It's in the thing. But why enforce it? Like, then there's why enforce it if it doesn't say Flesh and
Yeah,
Blood?
I don't. No, I think if you're using a playmat that infringes on copyright or something, but if you just literally like had a blank playmat,
I'll try and look it up for
like
you. I've read
bl-
it somewhere.
like a blank playmat, not even with a
I've read it somewhere.
like a fucking mouse pad.
Yeah, it's then straight back to things like proxy cards. Like, if I own the card and I want to put a fake one in my deck,
Very weird.
in tournaments there's rules against that. At your local store, they might care less. You know what I mean? Like you might let someone
It's obviously not enforced
proxy a
because
tunic because they borrowed it to the new player. You know what I mean? Like you might be fine with it, but in a tournament that should never happen. But I'll look it up. I'm pretty sure you're not allowed to in Flesh and Blood. Look, some of that stuff is in bad taste. Like when Nick Butcher rolls out his magic thing on like it was an RTN or a ProQuest stream. He's playing on a Magic playmat in a Flesh and Blood ProQuest.
Most people don't even know that's a Magic playmat.
That doesn't look good. It still doesn't look good.
I don't know why he uses that. I wish I asked him.
Why?
Yeah.
Because he's a edgelord.
No. But why that one? It's like a piece of
It's
cloth.
fucking expensive. It's got like jizz stains on it, man. That thing's like $5,000 or something stupid.
Not that much.
Oh,
I don't think.
it is. There's some that are. I don't know that specific one, but do you know how expensive they are? Some of those Magic.
The old cloth ones, the big ones.
I never really looked into that.
Yeah, they're very expensive.
Okay.
Way more expensive than any Flesh and Blood mats that exist
Okay.
at the moment.
So where can people find you, Andy?
Find me.
Yeah. Chromatic Games. Let the audience know. Plug everything.
I can put your
Website, what
Twitch
you do.
and
let
single
us
store,
know.
yeah.
Yeah, you can watch. We stream every now and then. You can follow us at Chromatic Games AU. That's for Twitch, and you can come install, and I'll probably be there.
Where is your
Find
store, Andy? People need to know. Give us the address. Where is your store?
255A Liverpool Road, Ashfield.
Sydney, Australia.
There's parking near the station, but you can pretty much catch a train if you're coming in from wherever.
You've got a
and walk
Twitter.
up.
Chromatic Games has a Twitter. It's got a Facebook.
I don't think he follows me on Twitter.
Oh, James does the Twitter, so.
James,
we'll
yes.
talk soon, mate. We should have brought
James
James.
is-
You
Oh my
know,
God,
James
bring
would make
James
a
here,
very
please.
good guest.
Yes, that'd be funny. Oh, yes. If you bring him,
Should
that'll
we?
be very
Yeah.
good, yeah.
Only if he starts playing Flesh and Blood. I know that kid doesn't always play Flesh and Blood. He's got to up his game.
He started, like,
Hey,
from the beginning.
I've seen him play.
No, he
I
has
haven't
some
seen him
alpha
play
stuff.
recently.
He had some alpha stuff. Yeah.
Actually, you know what? I was in Brisbane at Vault playing, what was it, a ProQuest?
Yeah.
Some random big white dude comes up to me and goes, "Hey, do you know James?" And I go, "James who?" He goes, "James, you know? James, he works at Chromatic." I go, "Yeah, of course I know." He's like, "I'm his best friend."
Okay.
I'm like, awesome, nice to meet. And then I told James, like, I don't know, they went to school together or something.
Yes,
Somebody
he always
knows.
talks to me about this guy.
Yeah.
I forgot his name though.
But he's like, "I saw him in one of your videos." And I'm like, great. He's famous.
James is famous.
Dude, he
Soon to be.
should make content.
Yeah, he should.
He's
I think.
that personality can't fail.
Yeah.
Because it does not matter, like he could read the label off this bottle and it would be funny. Do you know what I mean? Because it's all about energy. Like, I don't actually, my videos are boring to me, like, because I rewatch them before posting them. I'm fairly dry. Like, I could come up with a joke here and there, but I'm more dry. James is like,
Yeah, he's a character.
he's a
you know?
character.
Yeah,
He's a
you need to be
caricature.
character,
He's
yeah.
like not real. He's like a cartoon someone drew of a person. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
He's like an anime character.
Yeah, he's good. He's good.
Yeah. You should make him the mascot of Chromatic.
Mascot.
Yeah. Like, you should make a Chromatic channel and then he's like the helper. Like, he always.
Yeah, he's the prosperous innkeeper.
Yes.
And people can buy singles online from the Chromatic Games website.
Yeah, you can. We have Fab singles, Magic singles, and we're looking to do Weiss and Pokemon singles soon.
Awesome.
Sick. And when is your ProQuest?
Is it
On
booked?
It's because some person told me because it's on the exact same day as Vault Games, I think.
In
Jolt.
Brisbane?
Jolt Games, sorry.
Okay.
Jolt Games.
In
Someone
Canberra.
told me.
Yeah,
and I'm like, you know,
ideally alternate them. But also, you got to do what you got to do. Like, people never understand that when you run a business, like, if you got 20 tournaments that month, you can't just.
yeah.
Yeah.
One day, every day is going to be taken eventually, right?
Yes. But this is a big one for Fab. If there's only 2 in Sydney, hopefully you'll. Like, if it's not on the
One
same
in
day as
Sydney.
Joel, you'll get some of the Canberra crowd in. That's what you got to know.
Not 2, 1.
Sorry, 1 in Sydney, one in Gosford.
Sydney.
Well, that's the thing. If it's not on those 2 days, you will get the Canberra crowd and you will get the Gosford crowd.
Yeah, so I might need to change it.
Yeah.
If it's the only one, you'll get everyone in New South Wales.
Yeah. That's the advantage to you, is you'll fill the store. Which is what you want, I'm sure.
Yeah, because if there's not that many ProQuests,
Actually, I will talk off camera because I'm opening a crap load of Dynasty. Maybe I'll stock you up with singles. Because if you're gonna have the ProQuest, you're gonna want Dynasty singles.
Yeah, 100%.
So I'll try and I'm doing so. I'll shout out my own shit. But while we're talking about this, we're doing a big live stream on the Thursday night, which you're welcome to come to. So Thursday, 10:30 p.m. We're opening an Alpha box, Arcane box, Crew first case if we have time. Then we'll jump into like 10 cases of Dynasty.
Wow.
But if you want to be here to grab singles and sort and stuff, I can empty the table for you. Does that make sense?
Oh, thank you.
Like it might be an advantage for you to have them ready for the launch day.
Mm-hmm.
And what I do for good games already is they give me like 4 of their cases and I rip them on stream and then I just hand them the singles so they can sell them. So I can do that for you as well. You get a little ad on the thing and send people to your single store. But yeah, it's also you just come and hang out. There'll be probably 10 people in this right.
I'll be there. I won't be there for the whole night because someone's got to pay the bills and go to work the next day. But I'll definitely be there and make an appearance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and
so
you can find us all. We're flying out San Jose Worlds.
Oh yeah, we are.
Look at me. I can't believe, team, I haven't triggered John this whole podcast. I came wearing this attire, hoping.
Well, when
that
you
I
talk
would-
about the abusive relationship, I was just picturing you, mate.
Yeah,
The wife.
look, I came here.
Didn't say it.
I came here wearing my Cali getup. Okay,
Cali
I've got the baseball. This is
It's not a baseball cap, but go on.
It is. This is the AAA Las Vegas, Nevada Area 51 team. Formerly, now I think they're called the Aviators. I got the Cali white singlet. I got the pulled up white socks. I got the 3/4 pants. I'm looking like I'm straight out of Compton, baby. You better believe it. So, I'm just so pumped for going to California and playing in San Jose. So,
I haven't even checked the weather. Is it hot or cold? Or
perfect. Oh, not
It's just
perfect.
good
for me.
weather?
I wish it would be a bit warmer, but for most people, you consider
T-shirt
it perfect.
weather.
20 to 23 degrees.
perfect. That is perfect.
20 to 23 degrees.
Because I haven't thought about what to pack yet.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's going to be great. And follow us there. I'll be on the flight with Fluke and we'll be shenaniganing and we'll be doing all sorts of stuff. Hopefully we get to stretch our legs in LA and get down to Venice Beach and fuck around. It'll
How
be
long
good.
we got? Like 7 hours? or
7.5
something, yeah.
hours. Yeah. Plenty of time.
Go do some shopping.
Woo. All right, team. Well,
Any
I got
last
to bounce.
words?
Any last words? Shout outs?
Thanks for coming on.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you guys.
I think
for
people
having
find the poker stuff very interesting.
me. Yes.
The characters we have.
Any advice for young kids out there that want to open LGS?
Oh,
What
yeah.
advice?
What would you have done different?
You can't always think about the perfect plan. You just got to do
Just
it.
do it.
YOLO.
Yeah.
Actually, YOLO sometimes. Yeah.
I like it.
That's, yes, overthinking it will just kill it sometimes.
Mm.
Anything from you? There's a giveaway on the channel, 1,600 subs.
Oh, we done that?
On your channel?
Yeah, we smashed
That's all
it.
done?
It's all done.
So 1,700.
Yeah, I'm going to open
Next.
it up in, a day or two?
All right, I'm 1,000 subs ahead still. That's
Yeah.
no.
Team.
You're closing the gap. Like,
Close to the gap. One sub at a time. Congrats to all the winners in 1,600 sub. I will be posting out all those goodies before I leave to San Jose. Thank you very much for those that have got in contact. Give me postage details. Especially thank you to those that are referring me to a friend that are attending World. Save me on postage. We still have some Princess Spike playmats.
I was about to ask.
Yeah, I'm taking over. I've already pre-sold, I think, 12
Yep.
that I'm taking over. So I've still got a couple more. If you'd like a Princess Spy playmat, hit me up, 25 USD. You get your own number. There's only 60 ever made, never to be printed again. So, yeah, I think it's a real good piece, especially if you own the Tall Timmy playmat, but most people don't. It's pretty rare, team, pretty hard to get. I get constantly people asking me for a Tall
I've got
Timmy.
one for sale, 800 USD.
Everyone asked me for Tall Timmy playmats, and I'm like, team, I wasn't joking when I said I'm never going to print another one of those again. It's
Don't,
70.
yeah.
That's it. And I still get people freaking asking me all the time for a Tall Timmy playmat. And I'm just like, mate, it's done.
Your Dory playmat, I got smashed with when I showed people that playmat. You ended up selling a couple, I think.
Yeah, to the US. All because of you.
Yeah.
Woo! There we go.
But you didn't even have many. Like, it's
Yeah,
your...
I didn't.
No, that's cool.
All right.
All right, guys, we're going to sign off. See you at Worlds. This is the last episode before Worlds.
Yes.
Yeah.
But we're doing heaps.
Well, the next episode you see, hopefully, fingers crossed, is us and Sloop Doop or something cool like that in our hotel room in LA. In LA? Is that where we're going? Cali. I don't
San
even
Jose.
know where we're going. San Jose is where we're going.
Jose, baby.
LA and then San Jose.
Yes. He did it.
All right, guys.